tough because on the holiday,
Monday.
Yes, this Monday, we pick intelligence that some people were doing mining in the outskirts of Odan. Asumdwe.
I hope it's not Abu Abu.
They call the place Asumdwe.
I hope it's not close to Abu Abu.
They said Asumdwe, they call the place Asumdwe.
Okay.
And so quickly, the district officers of the Minerals Commission and the Small Scale Association, they are very effective. They went to the site and arrested, saw 3 people, so they called for security support. Randy, they arrested 3 people from Yemen.
Yemen.
Yemen, neighboring Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Yemen, you know, it's a failed state now.
Yes.
You know, Yemen.
So 3 Yemenis
arrested.
Yes.
3 Yemenis arrested. And then quickly, they needed to move the 2 excavators. No, they like, you know, when we go there, they need to move the excavators and 1 payload. So the necessary infrastructure that they needed to move, they didn't have them. So I asked them, they said, they need about a little over 11,000 to get all those things moved. I said in some Momo, that time I was in my village. Thankfully, we have moved the 2 excavators and the payload or loader, whatever they call it, to the Odan Police Command. So it's now at the police station now. That's the appropriate thing to do. I'm talking about this Monday, the holiday. Now, I believe the Yemenis couldn't flee because the Ghanaians who were then took, you know,
there were Ghanaians there.
There were Ghanaians there, of course.
So
they
took
away.
to their hills.
Yes, but the Yemenis were so emboldened. I don't know what they've been told. So they were there because apparently the excavators and those, we even found a big tipper truck there. They financed it, so they were arrested. And then a chief appeared. He says he owns the site. They arrested him too. So they took them to the police station. Okay, so when they say some chiefs are behind Galamsey, this is it. You know how chiefs are very respected in the village. So, Randy, these are some of the challenges that it is not that easy to deal with. But you see, when this chief, eventually the case is reported, I've seen the charge sheet, my officers and the small scale task force will serve as prosecution witness. I'll try and get, in fact, I got the minister for Eastern Region involved in this matter. I called and I said, Minister, it's a holiday, bad news, we have arrested some people.
You said?
Yes, I called him. So he also called the police command and said, look, make sure you follow the law and get all these things done. You understand? I hear the court didn't sit yesterday, so maybe today or whatever. We'll follow it to the hills. How Yemenis got here, whether they came as refugees.
So is the
or they took some money.
Is the immigration service involved?
We'll get to them. I mean, they've been arrested, so they will bring them in. The police will do that. But I've seen the statement from the Minerals Commission officer sent to the police. That's been sent to me. So once for
so the chief says the land is for him.
The chief says the chief boldly said the setup is for me. He showed up. Okay. So he was arrested and taken there. So Randy, don't downplay. You see, when we keep saying that chiefs have a role to play, the district assembly have the role to play, besides what we, Minerals Commission, also do. But I have some questions for everyone. Is it the case that the district chief executive of the assembly didn't know of this? Because you see, for our officers, anytime they pick intelligence, they only go to sites that are properly regulated. But if they get intelligence that there's small scale, activity going on here, which is not sanctioned by law, they write to the DCE and copy the regional minister and put the CEO of Minerals Commission in copy that we went through, and then they attach the coordinates. That is the location. And say, we have picked intelligence. And I'll come and show you a typical one. Maybe 20 people working, shovels, pickups, excavator, whatever. Foreigners involved, not foreigners involved. Sometimes if the people are armed, they do it for a distance because we have those gadgets to pick all those things. You can easily pick the coordinates. We pass on to the assembly. The DC is the head of DISEC. He chairs DISEC. He also has the district mining committees. Okay? Yeah, so unless it is just happening, now we'll get information as to when it started. So these are some of the challenges. So you realize that if the chiefs and the DCs will work hand in glove, like my minister has been saying very well, okay, together with the force of government and all those things, things will be fine. Because you see, Randy, don't downplay the importance of a chief in Ghana. Unless maybe you are not aware. I am a chief of a village. Randy, I am well respected, held in high esteem. There are so many things I can do in Rara. They listen to me a lot. I'm very supportive. Okay? So if there's some violence or something or whatever, I can just appear on the scene and they will listen and they will calm down. Whatever. I have a lot of influence and huge following and influence in my area, my traditional area. So it is very easy for me, with one or two people maneuvering the system, take an excavator, go to some bush somewhere in Rara where I come from, and start some kind of galamsey. It's not easy. Nobody can. They will just be saying, oh, Nana, this, they'll be talking, gossip or something. Then it might be known in the town that, our chief, Ayisi, is involved in galamsey or he's doing mining. And nobody can say it because you're afraid of the wrath of the chief. Or somebody will come and say, oh, this man said it. If you get one or two influential sub-chiefs and people involved, then we are doing it. And if you get one or two people in the community working on the side, they are getting their daily bread. Before you realize, the entire community is doing it. This is very common. You remember the chief in the Seshu area there who was together with his brother or so, they were digging their house?
Yes.
Yes. So when we say, just as they say, some big men are involved. Because look, what is the cost of an excavator? $240,000 thereabout. Those poor guys who fled the scene when the small scale task force and then the district inspectors appeared, they are just innocent people, okay, who are trying to eke out a living and make their daily bread. Okay, the culprit is this chief who appeared on the scene, who has been arrested, and the Yemenis.
Maybe
I will follow this case.
Maybe he's not even the culprit. Maybe he's also fronting.
Well, the chief. Yes, because you see, so I asked the regional inspector, why didn't the Yemenis run away? Mm-hmm. And they say, from the interaction, it appears the investment, the excavators and all these things were coming from them. So the chief might say, oh, it's my land. And then you'll get one or two big people involved.
So let me ask you this. Your outfit, the Minerals Commission, you've told that is quite decentralized and resource your officers at the district.
Yes.
Now, the Ghana Police Service is very, very decentralized. They are almost in almost every district.
Yes.
The BNI and the National Security, they are in almost every district. And for some of them, their work is even intelligence gathering. And I'm sure that over the last 5 years, maybe with the exception of terrorism, one of the key things which is maybe high up the radar will be issues of illegal mining. How is it possible that people of a foreign descent can go into a community that is not as urban as Accra with excavators, not one but two, and yet all these agencies will not know about them and their operation? How is that possible?
Randy, unless you're not a Ghanaian or you don't live in Ghana here, I was told it's a sub-chief who appeared at the site and says he is in control. It could be his family land, or it could be a stool land, or a land that is under his domain. He gives it out. It's his land. Now in the village, maybe they will say, it's a stool land. He's in control. He gives out land. So nobody will say anything. One or two people are working there. And then those who matter. You see, I want you to see this thing like the drug trade.
I appreciate that.
I don't work at narcotics board, but the little we have read about the situation in Mexico and Colombia over the years, and then the billions the U.S. government has pumped into that area, shows that it's a whole network. Okay? They bought judges, they bought the security, a whole lot. You know? So for things like this to thrive, clearly people who matter, maybe to use the word kingpins, should be involved in one form or the other. Some chief, some big man somewhere, etc. In the village, it's difficult for people to speak out these days, unless they speak to a journalist. And you see, what scares them is, they say you said it. We have had instances where people who have gone to report issues to the police, where they say now the accused person has come back to threaten him now. Yes. And it turns out that, that is a police people who give the information. So it's a issue who came to report you, or something of that nature. I mean, these things happen. So as you said, for 3 Yemenis, because the Yemenis, somebody might have told them that, let's go. Don't worry, I'm the chief here. This thing can be done. Let's go. You see, and in the community, it is difficult to stand up against a chief. Unless you get some powerful youth leader or some other group and say, no, we'll distill you or we'll do this thing to you. Because the Asantini has been saying all the time that he finds it difficult to understand how Galamsey will go on in a village without the chief knowing. The chief or some important person or traditional ruler knowing. You see, this is a famous statement of my minister. I say, with the greatest of respect, his father is a chief. Okay? So he's a royal. He knows and understands. He said it will surprise him that somebody will get into a village or a community to start something illegal, whether logging or timber or any mining or any illegal activity, without some chief, leader or influential person or persons who matter, without you knowing. So for instance, if gold is found in my place and Galamsey people are about to move in, they will tell me. They will even say, one of your sub-chiefs or this person is involved. If I don't act, that means that I'm also part of it. So okay. Even some of your chiefs will even approach and say, Nana, the person brought this. So let's see.
So for some chiefs, we showed there was an expose by a journalist somewhere in the Western region where we had a chief. I'm sure we have that video if they find it out. A chief lamenting about Akunta mining. We show the video where the chief, and in the video you could see the operatives of that business actually threatening them, whether they are vigilantes or macho men armed and all that. So the chief of the area and his elders, they had been threatened. They were complaining, and they spoke about the number of times that they had lodged complaints, that they had raised issues about the degradation that was going on. And now you could see the chief in his the shorts that you chiefs wear. Is it Jokoto? The big one, the baggy one.
Yes.
There with his elders, virtually crying and showing the media there what had been done in a matter of 4 days in that particular place. So this is a chief who was just helpless, but for the fact that he could get that media house to even film it for him.
Well, Randy, my response is a quick one. That's what is happening. Wonderful chiefs. Some chiefs, look, there's a particular chief, one in Eastern region and one in Western region, and then I think one in Upper East. They have made it their, like, anybody who brings any documentation there, even now we serve them the Gazette notice, he will call me. For instance, Ochinini, he will never allow anybody to work there until he has spoken to me. He will call me, Ayisi, I've seen this. Please come over. I want to understand. So lovely chiefs. Some of them are doing very well, supporting us. Even there are chiefs who send us intelligence. Can you imagine that some of my people are doing this thing? I'm afraid to even confront them or talk to them. I know why. So they will even come to the office. This is the area. So I've told you. Then he goes back. So we will pass it on to the appropriate security institution to go and pick up the intelligence, and then they will strike. So a lot of chiefs are against illegal mining, and they've been partnering the government, the various institutions, and we're getting success story. There's a particular chief in somewhere in Western region, former soldier, no Galamsey. The place is very rich. You understand that? You dare not. So people are different. You dare not. He has told everybody, Obama, bow too, or whatever. I mean, he's in control. He said, no, I will not allow you people here. You understand? So some chiefs, wonderful, they are doing their work on their own, getting the support of the assembly and co. Some DCs, lovely, they are doing their work, they will not allow you. But some chiefs, some big men, some influential people, some elders are involved. Do you get it? So I'm here to find out whether the police, this place that they went, these guys are carrying guns. Because you see, when these three Yemenis, for example, start doing this thing, the next thing is that because they are coming from a country that is in a state of war, news will go around that, oh, Charlie, the place is good, come. Before I realize they will cross Sudan, this, that, and then they are in Ghana here doing this thing. That is it. And I don't want to believe that people in the community didn't know this. I've asked the officer to go there and check it, because the officer can know. I mean, a mining engineer, he can know when this mining started. He'll be able to tell you 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year or two. But this success story came from the small scale association.
So let me ask you a question. Galamsey has been with us for some time.
Yes.
How come that despite the
effort,
announcement by the president, the setting up of a task force, the involvement of military and others, you still have this level of brazenness? This level of brazenness.
The 12 midnight thing, the person gets up and goes to the Prayer River.
Even the one that you just told us. This level of brazenness.
Yes, the chief.
How come?
So that is the regional inspector of Minerals Commission. We were chatting this one. He's monitoring the situation. They arrested the people. If you like, the Goro boys or those who have been supporting fled. Then you have a sub chief walked to the place and said, it is his site. He brought them. Then they arrested him too. You understand that? I am happy that happened, because typically what would have happened was that, oh, you see now maybe the bigger chief or somebody else coming to intervene. You understand that? Randy, that is...
Don't get excited yet.
I'm not excited. I will see how this case will go to its logical conclusion. Yes.
So my question to you is that, how come that despite all the things we hear, the resources we are putting in, the military and everything that have been, it appears that there is some level of brazenness. I mean, people just can't be bothered. It's going on and on and on.
People cannot be bothered because I've just made a statement that mining, the illegal mining thing, is kind of akin to what is happening in Mexico and
the narco states.
So let me take it from this angle. In spite of all the billions of dollars, US, including selling helicopters, giving Mexico aid, Colombia, going to come and spray the fields and all those things. Okay? You have drugs, cocaine and coke, billions running into US all the time. They've not been able to deal with the situation in Colombia and Mexico. One of the reasons is the money. That I will not shy away from it, because he can make quick money. Quick, I go to the pit, I can make money. When will my maize or cocoa farm will be ready? When is the next harvest time? You understand that? There is a money involved that is also the driving factor. The money. The money. Okay? And wherever you have, there's so much money in the drug trade. I've never worked at narcotics. What I'm just telling you is what we've heard, and then what we read online, and education we get from somewhere. There's so much money in cocaine, so people are prepared to, somebody will tell you, Randy, if you can take this thing to Holland or whatever, I'm assuring you 5,000. You go one trip and are successful, Ogbami, as we say in Ghana, Ogbami. Yeah. So you can imagine you take all these risks. People were swallowing drugs, and then the flight delay, you know what happens. These days, with these advanced scanners and sophisticated ones, they're able to take what you call a scan, and then they'll take it to a washroom, and then you empty everything. So that is answering your question. People can be so brazen. He knows that this thing, Charlie, ever pie. You understand? But people swallow cocaine to take it outside for some 5 or 10,000 or 3,000. It is the same thing at play here. The money involved. So those boys and people come in.
What about the complicity?
Is the money involved?
What about the money involved? But then there is a viewpoint out there that to the extent that those who are expected
Can
to
you see
lead,
that? Okay.
yes, those who are expected to lead, I'm saying what you're referring to. Those who are expected to lead, see that little kid there?
Yeah.
Yes, those who are expected to lead the war and the fight have themselves become complicit. I mean, so maybe when it comes to even the regulatory agency, there could be people who are complicit. When it comes to the political class, there could be people who are complicit. We have seen documentaries of the Ghana Armed Forces, men of the Ghana Armed Forces, actually providing security for people who are engaged in illegal mining. And they attack even task forces. You understand me? And their faces are shown, their pictures and everything. And you do not even get a statement from the armed forces itself. Meanwhile, it's the same institution that is also being used to fight. Yet the same institution is also providing security services for companies. And when the talk of illegal mining comes up, people tend to focus on just those who do not have requisite licenses. But I keep telling people that in the banking sector crisis we're talking about, I have not seen any of the people being prosecuted for not having a license to run a bank. But it is about what they were deemed or alleged to have done.
That led to the crisis.
That led to the crisis. And so you could have a requisite license and still be engaged in wrongdoing. The fact that a company has the requisite license does not mean that that company cannot engage in wrongdoing.
That's a fact.
Yes. And so you have instances of the military itself. I didn't know that they provided those services to some of these companies. And there are men who are guarding these companies who are engaged in wrongdoing. And the same military is being used to combat it. You have politicians. You have chiefs. You have all manner of people. So it looks like the very people that are expected to be relied upon to fight the thing themselves are complicit.
Randy, very simple. If we enforce, when we get them, and then we enforce the law and we deal with them, and they are, if you like, punitive sanctions, maybe it will stop. So let me put it this way. You see these 3 Yemenis.
Yes.
They take them to due process. They are arrested, prosecuted. And then the chief who showed up is arrested for allowing foreigners to engage in illegal mining. Then these things are publicized that the chief has gone to jail. And then 3 Yemenis and other accomplices have gone to jail. When people begin to see these things, then perhaps what you are saying is super trap, or you see the thing coming down. Because you see, this chief who appeared, if nothing is done, and the Yemenis are left off the hook, because the evidence is so striking. Clearly, that place is not a license. It's not licensed. Okay, they don't have the approval authority to do it, so they were involved in illegal mining. If those guys are jailed, the chief is jailed, and then these things are shown to the public and news go around, then the next chief or big man or so will be careful. You understand? But when this chief gets away with this, and then these Yemenis are left off the hook, it will happen again. Next time, the community or maybe another community nearby will say, oh, when Chief A or Randy, who is the chief of this area, was involved in Galamsey, he even showed up at the site they arrested him. He's not been jailed. On Inamho or Dashi or Hini, the chief in the next village where the gold is also, coming up, he will do it. The community they will be unfilled. Now say oh anyway now Galamsey or the Abrofubi by whatever. And then they see a chom. So that is what is fueling the word they use, brazen, the brazenness. Okay? Yes. The community see people getting away with it. So they say, oh, can't cry. You understand that? I don't know what has happened to that police matter, where some police people were being, if you like, for want of a better word, being humiliated by the gentleman.
They've arrested them.
They've arrested the gentleman. But it's also important, okay? It's also important, and that's my humble submission, because of the questions you're asking, that PIPS also comes to tell us
what they found
on their side,
because the
what
police
happened
said
to
that
those
they
people.
refer the issue to them.
So, because you see, if Ghana, because the guy was saying that, look,
yes,
that's what the guy is saying.
Yes.
You've been coming here, we know you.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You've been coming here, you've been coming to take your share and all those things. How come that today you want to arrest our people? Then that's what's happened. The police put up a different thing out there. I am not blaming anybody, I'm just telling you what is out in the public domain. They were looking for the guy, they arrested some people, eventually they got the guy. Clearly, the guy says he was doing illegal mining. You understand that? They were carrying guns and all those. There's all kinds of charges. Engaging in illegal mining without license, so that's illegal mining. Carrying arms without appropriate documentation authority. So the guy himself says, Mijitum, that I'm doing illegal mining.
But you are also
so that will go ahead. But when the guy say that these people have been coming here to take money from us, we know them. It's business. Okay? And we also don't hear anything, let's say, from the institution that persons have been mentioned. Then you are allowing the kind of situation you are describing to fester. So if those in those villages there, Elembele or Enchi or those areas, because news goes around a lot, it becomes public. Then what will happen now? Oh, look at village A, which is 10 kilometers away. The guys are back. The same people who were alleged to have extorted money. That is it. But I know the IGP, when cases of extortion thing comes, they have to investigate. So maybe we can say, let us also wait and see how they will respond or deal with the accusations that were leveled against those policemen who allegedly were known to the Galamsey people. They've been coming there, they are doing business with them, they're taking money. So if these things are not dealt with, if people are not sanctioned for these infractions, that brazenness will prevail. Because look, a small scale miner will definitely go to River Pra on Cobra in the night if he has every reason to believe that the people who matter, the people who should be stopping him, almost did him.
So one morning I woke up and checking my phone early morning, I realized that you had sent me pictures and a video. And I could tell that you were very excited. You had gone to one of the rivers.
Yes.
And you had shown me the picture. The place was clearing up, had virtually cleared up. So I could see from your face and everything, what you sent me, you were excited. 2 months later, we saw the same river. I've forgotten which river it was. We saw the same river worse than before. How do you feel when you see things like that?
Randy, sad. And that particular one, I'll tell you, it's a new phenomenon. For me, if it's just a prayer, and we got this intelligence from the military that go on these operations, if it's just an cobra and a prayer, okay, the situation will have been better by now. Yes, they were mining in the bed of the prayer and Ankobra. Birim has been diverted at several places because there are so many ways they do it. They put the chamfan and then they do the mining in the bed itself, or they divert the water and mine the bed. Okay? Or divert the river and create ponds. We are not used to signing thing. Burkina Faso people brought that. Okay, so a lot of influx of Burkinabés because of their security situation, and then they use the water. So there are various forms in which they do it. Now, that particular case, for instance, that river has so many tributaries. What we are increasingly seeing now is that some of the tributaries are far up there, okay, inaccessible, especially in the places like Western region and Co, heavily wooded, forested. You can't get there. Vehicles cannot go there. Just path. At best, motorbikes. That's what they use, motorbikes. So they create some kind of small huts and camps in there. So what we do is that when we pick the intelligence, we pass it on to the military. They do their recce because they have drones, they fly all over. And then they know that, oh, the guys are here in the heart of the forest. So when they come, they know how to surround the place. And then that is it. They get the people. Or they go in there, now we destroy the infrastructure. By the time they'll come back again, because frequent visits to the place, that is it. So what happened was that they washed there into those tributaries. And then when the rain started, everything is washed into the main river. So it's a new thing we are beginning to see now. Because the security apparatus were tackling the major water bodies. Then we realized that the various tributaries too are now being worked on. The complication stems from the inaccessible area. It's many of the areas you can't access it. So by the time you come, they jump on the motor, they take off. At best, you destroy the infrastructure, clear the champagne, destroy all those things they mounted there. It takes time. Maybe these days 2 weeks, 1 month, then they bring them back. Okay? So if you go there frequently and you keep destroying, they'll give up. They'll go to other areas. That is it. Or they will just relax now during the day, and then in the night, 12 a.m., they'll go there, 4 a.m., they are out. So these days you see the military sometimes starting the operations 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and then they'll get them. So they keep fine-tuning. I mean, when the people start swallowing drugs, in those days they used to tie it on your body, put in your shoe and all those. Nobody does that now. So people now swallow. And so enter this sophisticated scan. Even some of the scans can pick gold and metals and all those things. So as the people those who smuggle are becoming sophisticated, the people must also, the regulatory bodies that must also go after them are also getting sophisticated. You have to get modern technology to get them. It's the same thing here. So yes, the military is being supported heavily with drones and equipment and co to make sure that some of these areas, they flush them out. We know them. But that one got bad because the rain started heavily. And the heaviest rains are in Western North and Western region. So you can imagine tributaries taking their sources from places like Western North and Western region. 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. They are working there. Then the rains come, they wash everything. Sometimes they work in the tributary, which is sometimes smaller, and they put a champagne there. So when the rains come heavily, and the rains have started heavily, everything goes into the water body before you see brown. So you can travel along some of the water bodies, the bigger ones, you will not see anybody. You might see remnants of old workings or diversions here and there. You understand that? And you ask yourself, how come that the water still looks like apple juice or orange juice? Or if you like, Milo. Because people are washing upstream. Sometimes, from where you are sitting, maybe the next 5 kilometers, clean. Okay, if you like whitish, like the water. Then, beyond a certain point, you start getting brown or dirty. Because the tributaries connect from there. So that is my answer to the one that we showed you. So we're all happy, we're all celebrating. Then they went upstream. They are so brazen. So I'm saying that when we start, the punitive sanctions, when people see that, for example, this chief at Odan, they are hearing me because they are watching your program. One of your sub-chiefs showed up brazenly that I am his sight. If that chief, for example, we'll put out his name very soon, should go to jail, it will deter other chiefs in that vicinity or other area. And then if we publicize this, then people get to know that, Charlie, this chief has gone to jail, so let me be very careful. punitive sanctions help a lot. We just have to go all out. Maybe that's what we are not seeing, and the brazen thing. The fact that they are also even moving and working midnight tells you that the law enforcement too is, they are doing their work, but they are just being innovative, because it boils down to one thing and one thing only. And then to answer that your question, money. Money. And people can do anything for money. There are some people, no matter what. But at least we also deserve that. Look, we get things done properly.
So
we can't give up.
I have two questions for you on this issue, and I want to understand something from you. The issue of community mining. When you spoke to me about it, was to deal with the fact that, look, we have to live with mining. We need to help our people engage in mining responsibly. And so it is supposed to be a strategy to get those who are doing things illegally, with its repercussions on our very survival, to begin to do things in a regulated manner. How come, despite the opportunity of community mining, these people are still bent on doing things the way they are doing it?
Randy, my answer is very simple. There are some people, no matter what you do, they will still do what you are describing. But we have to continue. As I said, everything that the government is doing is anchored on 2 P's. We have the enforcement mechanism and the
preventive.
The reforms that we have put in place. I mean, getting sure licenses are done around the clock to cut the delays, because if you delay, it's also contributing to a factor. But let me step a little bit back and give you some history, then you can understand why. Because you see, if you don't understand the history, you get it wrong. ASM, or if you like, artisanal small-scale mining, has been with us right from the 15th century or so. Something we were doing long before the British came, or the various European groups, until the British took over. You speak to some of the elders, people who are like Chief Imam's age, or 70 or 80, from the Akan areas, especially Ashanti and Co. They will tell you, when it rains, they will pick nuggets, or they will just see gold, and then they pick it. And then rural folks used to have this, they call it panning. Yes. They just go and scoop something, and then they do it. And then, so that's how they were doing their jewelry and all those stuff. That was what was going on. But mining itself on artisanal or small-scale level was discouraged by the colonial administration and even the various governments. Do you know when proper small-scale mining started? 1989. Because all of a sudden, we find a lot of diamonds being sold in Togo. Then you find a lot of Ghanaian gold in Togo and Ivory Coast when the thing was being produced here. So there was this advisor, look, get it done properly. So real, proper, regulated small-scale mining started in 1989. 3 laws were quickly passed. PNDC Law 217, that's the Mercury Law. PNDC Law 218, that's the small-scale gold law. And these were all World Bank reforms. Then the other one was PMC Law, 219. So PNDC Law 217, 218, 219 were all passed to make sure that it's done properly. So things improved. Then over the years, Randy, and that's where a lot of education is required. People still see small-scale mining the way our grandparents were doing it, or the way they knew back then. Shovels and pickaxes and co. So when I hear a university lecturer or professor saying that it is a mechanization in small scale which is not known to us, that is also contrary to Galamsey, then I realize that he himself as a professor needs a lot of education. Even the gold cutter is a mechanized equipment. I have said it severally on this platform that many of the small scale operations in the north are underground. Bole, Tinga, Bongosoe, etc. If you want to go underground, you need to have the proper installations and structures in place. So when I hear people saying that small scale, you're not supposed to use those kind of machines, then they have gotten it all wrong. Because take like Obin mining. Obin mining was declared the best small scale miner, I think 2 years ago or last year. He's been mining the same place, for over 10 years now. It's hard rock. Okay? Hard rock. So you need to use equipment and things to break up the rock and mine. You understand that? Our ancestors, 50, 30, 40 years ago, they were used to this alluvial thing. Okay? The water body washes ashore, they go and pick gold nuggets and take behind their houses and coal. So people think that, oh, that's what they are used to. But if you have hard rock, a rock outcrop, how do you break it up? You have to use machines. So next week, I'll come and show you all these lawful small-scale mining sites and how they organize. We are just supposed to regulate them. So I have a problem, but I will not call it a problem because then that's why we have this platform. People need to understand what small-scale is all about. Who qualifies to do small-scale mining? What kind of equipment can they use? What is the acreage or the size? How are they regulated? And as we are having discussions, we will be showing videos and pictures. So maybe bear with me. People should be patient. And for now, let's suspend the discussions on opportunities in the mining sector. People will be disappointed though because they want to talk about mining. I don't know whether we completed the skill issue.
No.
So that we can spend about 2 segments to discuss small-scale mining in Ghana. What is small-scale mining? Who qualifies to do small-scale mining? You understand that? How do you obtain a license? How are they regulated? What kind of equipment is allowed? We'll show you pictures, videos of properly regulated small-scale sites. The contribution of small-scale mining to the economy of Ghana. What challenges do we have with small-scale mining? And then we will now wrap up with illegal mining, the causes. How can we deal with it, etc. So indulge me, 2-3 segments. We go into small-scale mining very well. By the time we finish, a lot of people will understand it and then can now have a change of perception. But I can run away with a few things.
Right.
As we speak, originally, small-scale mining was taking place in about 4 or 5 regions. Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, which is now split into 2, Western North and Western region. Randy, let me now speak like a lawyer, save OT. And even things are popping there now. I went there last week, I come from that area, and I'm hearing things. Save OT.
You know things or you're hearing things? You have the data.
It's fine, but if no activity is taking place and people want to go there now, that's it. Yesterday, somebody called me and said, there's gold in our farm place.
Okay.
I got alarmed. Okay. I went and checked the data. I realized that, yes, geologically, our system was showing occurrences. But when you say you want to go and we should allow him to do mining in our farm plains, then it means that I'm looking at the Volta River.
Okay.
Because our farm flows into the Volta. And our farm place is an island. You have to get there.
The Volta River is the last one
that's
standing.
The last thing standing.
Yes.
So I have to be careful. When I say I have to be careful, we have to make sure that maybe some areas are too sensitive. We shouldn't allow them. But then if you are not prepared to allow them, then it means that you have to police it. It's an island. If you're not careful, they go in there. By the time you take your pontoon or your boat and get there, they are gone. So we got to be very careful. So now we find small-scale mining taking place in 13 regions for gold. Even though mining and or exploration for all kinds of minerals takes place in the 16 regions in Ghana. So 13 regions in Ghana doing small-scale mining. Over 3 million people are involved, directly and indirectly. Randy, I'll tell you the hard truth. The accounts will say nuclear bakope and nuclear komeni. Several thousands of villages in Ghana here, in many of the regions here, the entire livelihood I'm using the word livelihood because that's a loaded word. It's mining. If you take out mining, 100% collapse. So, but it has to be done well, because the excuse will not be the fact that everybody is involved, so anybody can do anything. So take a place like Takwa, Diaso, Dunkwa, Prestia. Even for them, they've been doing it like 100 years. So factor in population growth. Factor in the sophistication that is coming now with small scale machinery, and then the support services. Okay? And all those things. So there is this changing phase of how mining is done. What do? You got to go in there as a government, assist and formalize them, but not to tell them they shouldn't do it. You know, my best example, Boli, where the former president comes from. Boli in Savannah region. There are several thousands of small-scale miners working there right now as I speak, illegally. The situation is not as bad as elsewhere. Why am I saying that? Because they are underground. They dig their hole. It might not be safe though, because they do it in a very crude form. And when it rains, trouble. Okay? So they are there, they go there, go and work, bring the boulders out, crash them using mercury. There are about 3,000 of them there working. When the day is good, you can have several thousands. Then we send the officer there to go and do the recce, because the security apparatus notify us that there are several thousands of school miners here. Normally, before they move in, we do our checks. We did a recce, realized that the environmental situation is not bad at all, because it's not open pit, it's not intrusive. They are just working. So let's ask ourselves, what do you do with 3,000 small-scale miners? They are working illegally, no documentation, no approval, no authorization. You got to assist them to do it properly. So the district officer there, who is now properly equipped, went there. When he went there, they welcomed him. He said, I'm not coming to arrest you. I'm not bringing the military here. We are coming to see how we can do it and support you do it very well. Then they say, hey, they started shouting and all those things. He picked the coordinates. He sent it to headquarters. We checked. The place is free.
When is it a place is free?
When the place is free, it doesn't belong to somebody.
Okay.
There is no pending application or no mineral right has been granted for some other person in that place. 1 or 2 areas is incumbent. So we took that out. They call the place cloth. So what did we do? I said you should organize them to cooperatives and groups and organize them properly, and then we start the process and formalize them. Randy, as we speak, the same government people are bashing that they are not doing it well, or they are pathetic. The same government too has taken our taxpayers' money to go and buy machine and equipment to support them. If you don't do it, the Chinese will fill the vacuum. So we have taken 3 gold catchers. The 3 gold catchers is almost getting to 500,000 because it is complete set: generator, crusher, concentrator. So it crushes, mills, concentrates, and prepares the gold for you. It uses only water. Okay? It's been sent and delivered to the district assembly, and they are holding it. They are aware. The officer is helping them with the demarcation and all those things. They are putting up their structures. They are following the operational manual. He's giving them an education. In a month or 2, they will have all the necessary working tools. They will be properly dressed. I'll come and show everything to you. And then you now have about 3,000 people now working properly. License, they'll get EPA. They have machines from government to work. Inspectors to come and visit them. Randy, for me, that is the way to go. So it is not everywhere that the government is sending the security apparatus to go and evict them. We didn't do it for Bongo Soin. We didn't do it for, what do you call it, Boli now. And we are not doing it for Nangruma. Where they send the military is when you enter the forest, because that's a red zone. Small scale mining is not allowed in the forest. So anybody there is doing illegal mining. So that one, they will send the military to come and clear you people. Now they are carrying arms. You heard the presentation by the Forestry Commission Board this Tuesday that his guns can reach 300 meters. the people are wielding guns that can carry 3 kilometers. Okay, so it means that the Forestry Commission will need a military.
You are not Forestry Commission, so there are questions.
No, we worked together. I was there.
Okay, no, I'm not. I'm not talking about this one, but I just said that there are questions I can't ask you because
they need
documents available suggest that the Forestry Commission itself is complicit in what has become of the forest reserves that it complains about today.
Randy, no problem. I can always speak to my colleague Alute,
yes,
and give him the slots in which maybe I'll be engaged somewhere or I'll go to the fields. Next week I have some program. Maybe if I'm not able to make it, he can come. But I want to leave the general public and you with this impression. Nowhere has Galamsey, on whatever occasion, has my minister or government admitted that Galamsey is gone or has been solved, or there's no illegal mining. Nobody has said that. My minister consistently has said, and from my engagement with you, with the chiefs involved, all kinds of institutions and people being complicit, you can see that the thing is like an octopus. It's not something you can uproot overnight. People carrying guns and them, it's just to deploy military. Do you understand? I don't think that I'm here to say that, oh, it's a lie. Even if you tell me that, oh, there's evidence that Minerals Commission officials are taking money or whatever, what they have to do is that come and tell me that the DC or this person, sorry, the district officer or this person has taken money. We investigate. I mean, we've been dismissing people. There was a case where a staff took money from somebody that you helped him get small-scale license. The person turns out to be a foreigner. And then he came to report when he was not getting results. Foolishly, the guy got the money put in his bank. So he said, this is it. This is my evidence. We investigated. The guy has been dismissed. About 3-4 people. So I want you to understand that. So if you say Forestry Commission officers are complicit, it's not for me to come.
I mean the commission itself.
Yes, no problem. No problem. So let him come here. But what is important is that I love the bulletin I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We're going to make it work.
Okay.
You understand? But the water body and
forest
the forest areas, that is where it's not allowed. Okay. And then let me run off by saying this. Mining has not been banned in forests.
Okay.
No way.
Mining has not been banned in forest reserves.
There's no ban on mining in forest reserve.
Okay.
The ban on mining is the one, so we don't allow small scale mining in forest reserve. Other than that, Newmont, their chim license is forest reserve.
Okay.
The entire Ghana bauxite forest reserve, 1941, Afokobo. So that's our 80 years on. They are mining. Chirano, forest reserve. So people are doing mining lawfully in forest reserve and following all the protocols. But small scale mining is not allowed. So if you find these people, they are illegals. It is up to Forestry Commission to come and speak to some of the things.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks, Martin, for joining me. We'll see you next week.